Hello and welcome to my new video. Today we are gonna talk about the 1 rep max, what the difference between strength and hypertrophy is, how I prepared for my max out or my competition. For that I'm gonna show you my training notes and the exact things I've done. And at the end I'm gonna try to give you a layout or a scheme how you can prepare for your true strength. Just a side note, I noticed that my audio quality wasn't as nice for the last video, and I tried to find my other microphones, the good ones, but I realized they are in my backpack, which I haven't seen for around 4 months. I hope I can somehow find it and use the other microphones, and as of now I'm just gonna use this little one I got. Starting with the difference between strength and hypertrophy. You might have noticed, but usually when you train in the gym, you choose something between 5 and 15 repetitions if you were a normal gym goer. Powerlifters, they usually train in the range of 3 to 10 repetitions, sometimes even below. This has a specific reason. Muscle size doesn't necessarily equal the force you produce, because yes, to move things you need to have muscles and you need to somehow develop them through hypertrophy, but strength comes from the adaptation of the body to heavy weight. For example, if you just try to lift a 1 rep max, which you have calculated by using some kind of online tool which projects your 1 rep max, you probably will fail because your body is not customized to high weight. Neither your muscles nor your central nervous system are yet ready. You need to slowly adapt to higher weights, to higher intensity, and week by week coming close to your true strength. Producing the highest amount of strength physically possible for your body, you do not only stress your muscles but also your central nervous system. And this is also a thing you can train by amping up the intensity. Usually there is no reason to train for your 1 rep max, because in case of a bodybuilder you will lose around 1.5 months of time while you're training with low volume and high intensity and get less hypertrophy in than you could. But for a powerlifter whose results depend on the performance on the competition day, it definitely makes sense to have a proper peaking phase. Let's see what I have done for my competition. My preparation block consisted of 4 weeks. 3 weeks where I increase my lifts little by little, and the 4th week where I have somewhat of a deload week where I try to get rid of the fatigue, but keep the potential of lifting heavy. So for the first week I started with a 215 squat, a 250 deadlift, and where it is, yeah, and a 147.5 bench press. These are usually somewhat light lifts for me. Nothing special, nothing which I have to worry about, but this is the overall setup where you just go and start to see what feels good, where do you have a good technique, and this is the weight where you start. As a back off, you obviously do some triples or doubles where you choose a weight which you could usually do for, let's say, 8 reps to just get in some volume and some adaptation going. In the second week, I've increased my squat to 225. Before that, I warmed up with 215, like the week before, when I went on a deadlift from 250 as a warm-up to 260. And for the bench press, I went to 155. Here, it is more demanding, but still it shouldn't be as much of a challenge. The back off is still somewhat light, but mind that you have to still keep up your technique on the back offs, to have the form and the technique lifting heavy. So treat every rep like it would be your max attempt. Only this kind of training will give you the necessary adaptation to really lift heavy. As for the back off volume or the accessories, I've already dropped it. So for example, on Monday I have just some squats and a bench press. Besides that, or besides the main two exercises, I have overhead press and hanging leg raises. So nothing special, nothing that demanding. You focus only on strength or only on your peaking phase. And this is what I meant by you lose out on volume because you use everything for your strength adaptation. So for bodybuilding, it doesn't make any sense to go in that direction. Right, and for the third week, here I went to my sub max, or where it really got heavy. For my squat, I warmed up with 225. 235 was my max attempt. I failed it. I've made a short video about it, but yeah, shit happens. Then some back off. For the bench, I did 157.5, which was also very heavy, and the back offs also did not feel that light. As for the deadlift, where it is, I did 245 and 255 to get my opener in and to just train the lift using hook grip and not only straps like I did before. And here also the accessory volume really dropped. I did just some sets of arms, some sets of shoulders, just a little bit of everything just to keep it somehow engaged, but nothing big, nothing special. Week 4, I had 2 workouts. Workout number 1 is where I did my opener on the squat and on the bench press. So the one was 215 and the other 150. This is also the way I moved in the competition. And for the deadlift session, I just got in some technique exercises where I just used light weight to not increase my fatigue. Also to mention, in the last week I had a cold, and at the same time I had to reduce my weight from 95 to 93 by doing a light water cut. So this is also additional stress on the body, therefore we didn't do anything special. So, and after going through this, you might think, oh well, you didn't lift anything heavy. It's like the normal stuff, the stuff you also lift for reps. Well, this is true, but if you treat every lift, every repetition as a competition lift, or as you would treat your 1 rep max, you get used to lifting heavy. And this is also what happened on the competition. There I could easily deadlift 275, where my max in my preparation was just 260. So the last week is very crucial, where you just get rid of the fatigue and still keep the ability to lift heavy. As I've said before, it doesn't make sense from a bodybuilding perspective to go for your 1 rep max. You just lose out on volume, on time, and there is really not much progress you make. Therefore, if you really want to train for strength, or just to find out what your strength is, do 5 rep maxes or even 10 rep maxes. I guarantee you will get much more happier with that, instead of just preparing for nothing at the end. For me, it makes sense because I'm competing. I have to go on the stage and perform there. But for you, there's really no reason to do it. If you really want to work up to your 1 rep max, then let's just assume your usual maximum to muscle fatigue volume is on the squat 5 times 120, on the bench 5 times 80, and on the deadlift 5 times 140. You see, I've incorporated for your top set. Mind, this is your top set, not your whole workout. For your top set, you do slowly increase from your baseline and go up by 5 to 10 kilogram a week. What exactly works for you? You have to find out. It's for everyone is different. Some guys can go up by 5%, some even by 10%. Therefore, you have to experience that for yourself. And besides these top sets, where you go up one by one in the first 3 weeks, and then you rest in the fourth, like I've described in my case, and max out in the weekend of the fourth week. This is your top set. Usually you do also incorporate some back-offs, like for week 1, besides the 3 times 80 bench press, you do also something like 5 times 70 for free, and so on. So this is not your whole workout. You can also incorporate some accessories like shoulder, biceps, triceps, whatever you want, some back, but do not overdo it because it will impact your fatigue level. And here we do not try to fuel the muscle, we just try to move the weight. So if you really want to try it out, then use this small cheat sheet. I mean, there are a ton of YouTubers talking about stuff like this. I'm probably not the best one because I'm an athlete. I do not train people, but this is my perspective and my advice, what might work for you. Alright, this is everything I have for you today. If you have more questions or remarks, just ask right away in the comments. If you want to join the Discord, use the link in the description and keep safe.